What's up, YouTube? Today here we're going to have a Grixis Delver video for you in Historic. There are a lot of new cards here and a lot of different things that I'd like to try out today. So getting started, we're going to go over the deck list and my thoughts on why I chose what, and then we'll hop into some games. So Consider is just better than Opt here. It lets you put cards at the graveyard for Delirium, and maybe you could potentially get lucky and put a Grixis in there. Our namesake in Delver of Secrets here. We also have another Delver-esque style effect in Dragon Rage Chandler. These cards are very good early threats and pair well with other cheap interaction and card selection cards here. So we have 2 Spell Pierce to deal with the combo-based control matchups. We have 2 Blood Chiefs, Thirst, and Fatal Push. These to me are better than Unholy Heat because sometimes in the post-board games they're attacking your graveyard, and Unholy Heat doesn't get to scale to deal with their more meaningful creatures, and these removal spells are just always on. We have 6 discard spells here. Grixis is notorious for not being able to handle its life total very well, so we're going to go with Inquisition over Thoughtseize in the split, but nonetheless there's 6 discard spells here. And then we have our Dragon Rage Chandler. Static Discharge is a card I want to try out. It doubles its removal and reach, and it scales in the later games. We have a secondary threat, and Young Pyromancer also plays well with our number of spell-based cards in our deck. And here we have Drown in the Loch. Drown in the Loch is something that doubles its removal, but it could potentially be better as a memory lapse. Just trying to hedge against the creature matchups, because I feel like with the Spell Pierce and discards and early threats, they'll do well in the control matchups. So just gonna want to see how this plays out going forward. This is the best card selection in Historic and Expressive Iteration. If you can cast it, you should play for sure. Grixis is just a card advantage card that I'm looking to pitch to the graveyard off for Delirium here, and maybe escape it in the late game and have a lot of closing power when the game goes long. This counts as a spell and a land, so this is very good for flipping Delver, which is somewhat difficult without Brainstorm and Ponder. And then our Grandy card would be Colorgon's Command, and then we have 18 traditional lands, so 19 with the flip land. Onto the sideboard, we have 1 Shadow Spear, 2 Soulguide Lanterns, 4 of the Malevolent Hermit. This card's really good. It's a threat in the control-based matchups, and it also doubles as a better Mystical Dispute because it does damage, and you get to flash it back. So it's also card advantage, and it's something that I think control decks will have a lot of difficulty dealing with on top of your other cheap threats and interaction post board. Rolling Vortex is also something that puts a clock on control, and then other decks looking to abuse their graveyard. And then we're just going to round out with some removal for the control or the creature matchups in Infernal Grasp, Sudden Edict, which could also be good against the Indomitable Creativity decks, and Flame Sweep for the travel creature decks as well. Alright, let's hop into some games and see how it plays out. So tempo or aggro control is something that's really rewarding to play, because when you're winning for most of the game, and when you lose very quickly. And it's also my favorite way to play. Alright, so our opponent's going to go first here, and we'll wait to see our opening hand and make decisions based on on the information that we have. Alright, so we have 2 lands, which is really good. We have 2 threats, and then we have card selection interactions. It's a very good hand to keep. It looks like our opponent's on more than a 6 here. Okay. Let's see. So there's a very good chance they have a turn 3 play, and they took a mulligan. So I think I want to play the control route this game and lead with the turn 1 Inquisition, then go threat on turn 2. So the game is probably going to go longer, so I'm going to take this. This is card advantage throughout the game. This is just a creature I can deal with whenever I draw removal spells for it. So I'm going to get here for 1 down to 17. We'll play this on blue. And right here, I think I want to go threat that we talked about earlier. And then we'll put a stop on our upkeep, and we'll consider in case there's something we don't want off our Delver trigger. Let's see, they have 3 lands. We have a removal spell. Very much fine with just taking the damage here. Alright, let's see what we got. We have a Spell Pierce. I'm fine with revealing that, but I don't want to draw it. I would like some removal, so we're going to get rid of that. Then we're going to resolve our spell. This is perfect. The interaction, or the interface for this is kind of odd, but it is what it is. We're going to push the Voltaic Brawler off a cliff. I'll keep the land. I do want the land, alright. Let's see, yeah, because we can get rid of their next threat. Probably this. Everything looks good, so we'll draw this. Play out our 3rd threat here. And I'm gonna hold back the 2nd Chandler, because I wouldn't mind trading it here. Just so they are a turn behind by activating this, and that will help with Delirium. I'm gonna put a 3rd card type in the graveyard. Okay, so they have a main deck ooze here. So I'm gonna put a stop on there, draw a step, potentially take the card out of their hand. But we'll reevaluate when we draw. Depends on how they want to use their ability and their combat step here. So Delirium is probably off the table for us this game. But this is most certainly a fantastic draw. We're going to push this off a cliff, make them use this before our triggers go off. So he ate the instant. Probably should have taken the sorcery here, but it is what it is for them. Let's see, I have enough threats here. I'm gonna go 2 combat, attack with the Delver here, and I'm gonna do everything I need to do now. That way I can block with these effectively without having to attack. And then they're dead on the backswing. So 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 here. 3, 6, 7, 8. 3, 6, 7. I'm at 10. I've got 3. Alright, good showing game win here. We're gonna bring in all of our removal and the Shadow Spear. And probably cut as much discard as we can. Get rid of the Thought Seizes. I actually don't want a Karoxa. It's just really bad tempo, especially being on the draw for this game. And I don't expect to escape it, especially with the Scavenger news, so I'd rather have some discard to break up their curve. I'm older than I look, I gotta adjust my chair. Okay, this is a very good Hearthstone hand, but we're playing Magic, so I'm gonna pitch it. A lot of good spells here. Card selection, interaction, threat. We'll put back the 2nd threat, and we'll look to go Inquisition into Pyromancer. Take as little damage as possible with our lands here. Let's see. So the Ranger class is going to be very good if the game goes a touch long. This is going to take care of our threat, but this lets them be quite explosive. So we're going to take this. because they have 2 more turn 2 plays, I have to take this to slow it down. So they'll probably play the brawler here, or maybe they want to get the ranger in now. They're gonna play the brawler here. It's a very good pickup for us. In fact, I think I'm just gonna 1-for-1 this here, and then look to use iteration to find things depending on what I see from them for their turn 3 here. It's a good pickup from them. It lets them go burning tree into ranger class. Alright, we found a threat. I don't have. I can go threat, but I'm gonna need to interact with their board because of the amber cleave here. So I think I just want to go threat and then look to block with the pyromancer, and then iteration with this on the board. Maybe they just pump mana into this and we can find ways to deal with what they're gonna do here. Let's see. So it's a 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, so it's still 2 off. And that's, I guess I'm just gonna eat the 4 damage here. Okay, our best draw would be a flame sweep. In this situation here, I'm gonna go get rid of the pyromancer. Kolaghan's Command's a very good draw because it gives us some interaction with the Burning Tree and the Amber Cleave. Let's see. So it's not too familiar with Amber Cleave, so it would be another creature with haste potentially could turn it on, or a land. If he has a land here, he turns it on. I think we got to fade a land, so I'm gonna keep this on top. I'm gonna put this in my hand. Send this to my library. I definitely don't want that. Alright, and then we'll play this tapped. And then probably put mana into this here this turn potentially. I would like to trade the Lanimore Elves and the Dragon Rage Chandler if possible, because I am definitely taking the controller off this game. It's a very good draw for him. And then also does almost take him off any mana next turn. I think I'm just gonna play it stab them. Kill this, make them discard a card. It's a very bad iteration for sure. Alright, well, 4, 5, 6, we got a 3. 2 if he does anything with this. And then we can lure us into probably pick back up our Dragon Rage Chandler. Alright, so we'll Luris and let's see, let's take a second here and figure out my options. So I'm most certainly blocking this turn. I need a little bit of life. I don't want to shock and go to 1 because that makes combat just unwinnable. So I think I need to consider with blue mana here, the auto tapper will screw you up for sure. I'm gonna pitch this. I'd like to put that in a graveyard. Alright, this is a turn too late, unfortunately. Let's see if we got block. Have any counters on it? So we'll trade chunk. Alright, that's still the deal for sure. Alright, we're gonna take this game on the play. I like everything we have here. Being on the play for game 3 is where you want to be. Anything we want to find would be Delver, Discard, or Dragon Rage Chandler. Those are our ideal looks with a couple lands and some removal spells. Pyromancer is very good in this matchup. It allows us to kind of go wide, make some good blocks as we Xerox through our deck and find things that potentially win us the game to fly over the top. It looks like our opponent's reevaluating what they want to do for game 3. Cards you have to watch out for are definitely Clothis and Scavenging News because they break up our plan while being proactive. So if I get the chance, I'd like to snag those out of their hand and just dodge them all together. Very good Hearthstone hand, but not what I'm looking for. Another one lander with nothing we can cast, so it looks like we're gonna go to 5. But we have good stuff here. Let's see, I'm just gonna fix extra threat removal. And we're just gonna start with a tap land and say go. Alright, well, I'm on the back foot, so I can't really consider bolting the bird because I need to just start accruing some type of card advantage in this matchup. They have a really strong start here if they can play anything off of this 2 free mana. Just need to kill our threat, which is fine. But another land is good for us here. We're gonna shock and say go. Alright, so that mistake from them got us back in the game. So we'll put Lurrus in the hand, that's all we can do. But we'll be able to cast it. So we'll be able to put something to the board next turn. Them allowing us to get away with the Flame Sweep is huge, because now we're back on equal footing from our mulligan. That's going to be very difficult to beat. I would like my Shadow Sphere back up on it. The lifelink will help us race a bit, but if they can activate this and pitch cards from their hand, we're not going to be in a good spot. And I also don't want to let them discard that potentially steal. Blue lane coming a touch too late here. I guess I'm just going to shock this and pick back up Lurrus. But I'm not sure there's much that can get caught up in their hand to turn off their Hazoret. So unlucky for the home team. Let's see, let's look up at our options. Another Flame Sweep doesn't do much. Static Discharge doesn't harm this. This costs 2 to target. So I'll be at 2, even an activation from this kills me. I'm just dead. Like, there's not much I can do about a Hazoret. That was just a very, very good draw from the opponent. So the mulligan and the ability of them to curve out off the BTE is what got us in there. Now, Delver is my favorite deck of all time. I've played it every format it's been legal, so we're gonna follow suit here. But as of right now, it's still missing something that makes Tempo like very viable. Like Bolt pushed over the top for sure. This is a very good hand. But just something Vapor Snack probably wouldn't do enough. I think it would have to be Bolt. Like it's like interaction plus reach. It's also turn 1. For the player, I always lead with a threat on the play. But as I was saying, I think Bolt would be the thing that makes it top tier. Okay, so it's a very good chance to take our Inquisition here just to protect their hand. We have plays lined up either way. Now we get to go second Darcy and to consider potentially turn on Delirium here. I don't want another one of those. Neither of those. Yeah, we'll also put that in the graveyard. Okay, so we're, I think, 3 out of 4 for here. We have land, instant sorcery. They could potentially kill one of our threats. Let's see. We have a land. So instead of playing the discharge into nothing, I want to set up for a sweeper. Alright, we got to dodge one last turn. So we'll see if I get lucky again here. Keep in mind that my sequencing did miss us out on a few points of damage, so if it comes down to it, then I potentially made a mistake, but we'll see how it goes. We need to put a threat in the graveyard for Delirium. So we get to play ball now. Alright, we get vetoed, which is fun. Let's see, I have a threat rolled up. Post Wrath if they have it. Okay, so I don't want the Delver anymore, so we're gonna fetch it away. There's no Yorion, so they're not any wild. Yeah, I definitely want to fetch this away now. We're gonna grab our red source here. So we're gonna put them to 6. And let's see, I want to go threat here. Because the way they're playing, they don't have a sweeper. Sure. Yep. This puts us in a really good spot. They might not have a lot of sweepers game 1. Let's take a look at the graveyard here. So this is probably a Doom Foretold Dark. Cool. Good game opponent. Alright, we're gonna go to game 2 on the draw against Doom Foretold. This card is extremely good. And we're just gonna bring in all the cards that matter to them. So we're gonna cut our push and thirst. We need 2 more cuts here. It's probably going to be discharged because I want some of them out of reach, but you don't want cards that just discard a card, do 3 damage or even 4 damage in this case, because you want things that matter. And this only matters when they're in single digits. This is the best hand we could have, and they snap kept their 7. But I don't think I want to mulligan. I have a threat, card selection, and whatever you want to classify Croxa as. The thing I won't cast until later. That's a phenomenal draw to potentially put a lot of pressure on them early, depending on if I get the flip or not. But they have the answer for it, which is fun. Going Pyromancer into Expressive Iteration if they get it off is going to be fantastic. But they have the second portable hold. They're 1 for 1 in this, which that makes me not want to play Croxa. But they are 1 for 1 in this, which is a little weird. They have no cards in their graveyard. I'm gonna keep this one. I probably want to put this away, so I'm gonna exile this. I'm not really interested in having this anymore. It's probably some merit to holding up a potential dispute in their mind, so we'll play the basic island here. Make them think a little bit. So they get rid of this, which frees up our Croxa. They have a big turn 4 play here. Yeah, they do have a Doom Foretold. I'll discard the Croxa. Okay. Let's start with the expressive iteration. Okay. So I'm gonna keep both of my threats here. We're fine with the knight for now. Let's see what they do on their turn. Next turn mapped out is probably going to be Hermit. Just going to go ahead and block. I have enough blue, so that's fine. Alright, let's see if they have an answer for Croxy here. We still have a blue up, which could potentially make them think. But this could close the game really quickly. Okay, we'll just look to play Darcy and our Hermit here, and then build back up our graveyard. It looks like they're flooded a bit, and we are at 14. If we had a threat that was doing damage, this could be in our favor, but I think that puts it firmly in their control here. There's nothing really different I want to do. We'll lead on the Hermit. They auto pass, so we'll be fine. I'm gonna leave this because this is a late game, and this could potentially get back both of my threats. And I guess I could look for discord, so there's merit to playing it on my turn. That's also a very good hit. A decline to put that in the graveyard. So I know I left myself wide open, but they have a lot of mana, and I potentially just want to like block block. Take their threats off the table. They have another Doom Foretold. I think that's gonna do it for us. A second Vortex. Let's see, there's not a lot I can do, but I'll flash it back with the intention of blocking here. And I'll just say go. Now, beginning on the play will be very good in this matchup, especially with the Spell Pierce or anything like that. So them getting rid of that is, this game's firmly over for us. Okay, so there's nothing we want on our sideboard, so we're just gonna hit submit, go for game 3. But ideally we get an early threat and we just interact with their board on the stack. That's how we're going to win this game, is through our cheap spells on the stack. But they had Portable Hull, which was really good. It hit a lot of our early threats. I mean, we even landed a Croxus. They were well prepared for the small creature matchup. I think our best bet is just to take full advantage of their early game and get a little lucky. Good hand. Let's see, I have selection, the threat, no discard, but I have a Call Guns command. On the play, I'm gonna keep this. Let's see, I do have 3 lands, so I could wait. I do want to consider my options and see what I could do for my turn 2 play, if it's going to change from Pyromancer or not. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to put that in there for now. I'm going to look for something that I have not found. So we're just going to stick the Pyromancer and say go. Now, if they have a portable hull, we will make them discard a card and get my Pyromancer back from out from under it. I think that's going to be the play. Yep, so they do have the hull. And they have the expressive iteration. So you were taking a lot of damage from our lands, but it shouldn't matter too much in this matchup. Alright, so we have a Pyromancer back, and we have a play rolled up for next turn if they don't interact with my board. This is a very, very good play here. Let's leave with Thoughtseize. I don't know what they could do with nothing in 3 mana, but Thoughtseize was a very good grab for us here. Sure. This card seems very good. Could potentially make, is it Phoenix Jessica? I have a lot of potential card advantage here. Let's see, just gonna take the Wrath. Then gonna put 2 tokens on the board. Try to find something. Let's see, definitely hand. Definitely library, definitely exile. Our swamp's still in our deck. All right. Let's see, do I want to take the cast out? Because I have another Pyromancer. This lets them find things that matter. Got a lot of card selection here. So I probably just want to take the thing that interacts with my threat. It would be some consideration to the other line if they didn't have these sit waiting to be flashback. But it looks like they do. Spell Pierce is our best draw. Or Drown in the Lock. But it looks like they found something to interact with this. Okay, I'm gonna choose not to play around with Sweeper here. And I'm gonna go double Pyromancer with the intention of playing this next turn. Put 2 more tokens into play. Alright. It was very timely Wrath on their part, but we got to get our creatures back, so it's just a time walk for us. Our best draw is by far still Spell Pierce or Drown in the Lock. So the portable hull is really good for them. Alright, I'm gonna put this to hand, and I'm just gonna play threat here. They're doing a lot of spinning of their tires. If we can flip this here, that'd be wonderful. With this in hand, I'm just going to add to the board. I'm not playing around anything wild. Let's see, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. So they have to have something or they're potentially dead, right? They do have interaction for our board. That's a hell of a hit. Let's see, they can flash this back. Alright, we're keeping pace with their removal spells, which is phenomenal. It really shows the strength of the deck. But they do have a lot of ways sitting in the graveyard to enter to the board even further, and this is probably the best I can do with the lures on the board. Let's see what they choose to do here. They're not in danger of dying this turn thanks to the Meathook Massacre. Very good card from the new set. I guess I correctly ascertained that they're gonna die if they allow it to stick on the board. We're just gonna play this out. And I think the Doom Foretold is gonna seal the deal here. I guess we're gonna keep the threats going here. Let's see, they have to sacrifice something, so that's good to get off the board. And they still only have one card in hand. They do have ways to kind of sort out their hand and kind of get the best of 3 cards here. I may have just died. Let's see, I have another Color Guns command and another discharge. Alright, I'm an 8, they're at 8. I died. Really close game. It was a really close game. They drew really well. It's also not something you expect to see much on the ladder, so kudos to them for sorting it out. Let's see, we have a 2-lander here with a bunch of things I want to keep with. Turn 1 threat, always what you want in the stack, for sure. What in the hell is this? Okay. I have no idea what I'm playing against. Why would we flip Delver in the stack? They're like over 30 flips for Delver. It's just a lazy fucker. Alright, so we dealt with both of their threats. We have threats of our own, even though they might be a little bit stubborn. Okay, I'm not gonna be greedy. I'm just going to continue to deal with this stuff. This is doing more damage to me than anything they've kept on the battlefield. Alright, that's good. They're on 2 turn clock as is. I have a Thought Seize for their threat if it's greater than 1 to 2 mana. So we're in a good spot. Does this say them as well? Yeah, alright, so it'll do 4 damage to me if I decide to Thought Seize it, but I don't think I want to. So the Bowmat's very interesting. I think I'm just gonna be in a full-fledged race here, correct? Let's see, I'm gonna put this in my hand, put you away, cast you. Alright, so I have the land set up for the Colonel's command. They have 3? Let's see, so 3, 4. I don't think I'll lose. So I'm just gonna force them to draw something here. I have to interact with both creatures. Let's see, that puts me to 6, this puts me to 3, this puts me to 2. And that's assuming they flip this turn. Sure, so you probably sack this, right? Okay, while everything's on the stack, I'm gonna go ahead and consider here. Let's see, I can't cast Colonel's command, just a quick check, make sure I don't need any of my lands. Let's see, I don't plan on casting that. I think the thing I would want here is either something to directly deal with this, or a Spell Pierce. Worst draw on the deck by far. Okay, so this just looks like blue, red, whatever the fuck with Leyline of Combustion. I'm just gonna bring in all of my creature removal stuff. I want things to play to the board. These do not. I'm not necessarily interested in the Hermit, even though this card advantage, I haven't seen enough out of their deck, and I think I just want to play to the board. And while this is a good creature, I actually, missing this, I may have just considered switching 2 for 2 here. Just a little bit of card advantage, and the flyer on the back end is really good, and potentially stopping a removal spell is kind of something I think I want to be into. And this is a situation where I want to test the card out, so we'll know for the future. Let's see, I'm gonna keep this. We're missing blue, notably, but we can cast, really important. They just mulligan to 5. Okay, they don't have a threat on 2, and they have 2 of these. So we just need to stick a threat. And they lost this game for sure. Alright, we're gonna go Island into Delver. They probably have a removal spell for this. Just might have kept this. Let's play Expressive Iteration, look for another threat here. I think I want to keep the Flame Sweep. I don't want to target them because I have 2 of these. Alright, and we're just going to patiently wait to flip our Delver whenever he decides to get up and go. Best draws in the deck are things that interact with the stack. So, Spell Pierce again. Ironically, the Hermit. We're gonna push this off a cliff. Take 4 to do it, but so be it. Let's see, push. Take 4. I like to expressive iteration. I'm gonna keep this one this time, I think. Put this one back in the library. Let's see, I have double red in hand. I need double black for Luris, but I have that. So since we have the Spire Bluff, this is probably the next lane we're gonna play. Just gonna put this on black. I know that would seem trivial, but when you want to cast more than one spell a turn, you really need to be meticulous over your pathways and your lands in general. Especially when you play a typo deck, like every small interaction matters, and you just want to make sure that you're on the winning end of the things you decide to do. So we lost our threat. This... Okay, so it'll take 4 for me to even make them discard a card. So I'm just gonna iteration. I'll look for... Okay, I want this. Put this in my library. I don't really want to take any damage here. This is gonna be painful. Alright, I'm definitely playing something that can gain me a bit of life here. Okay, so these fly, this gains life. We have a flame sweep to deal with things that have not matter. So we had a plan lined up. These things just did a lot of damage to us, which is not ideal. I don't think I want to change anything. I think I want to discard one of these for another one of these though, because I don't think the game is going to go that long. And having a Crux and Memory Lapse is abysmal, especially in a matchup where you need to play on the board early game. It's not something I want to have in my hand. Very good hand. And they're mulligan. They're probably looking for their card, but this helps us race that piece of technology, for lack of a more suitable phrase. Swim a shot, got an 18, play it over. Turn 1 threat's where you want to be. This will flip one day. I promise. Okay, so ideally, this flips. We play and attach the Shadow Sphere. Spear, not sphere. And we gain life. Alright, opponent. Don't kill it. And it does. Okay, we took 2 damage. We're looking for a threat, but we're pretty well lined up here. Let's see what their draw spell lines up. I wonder if they shock this in. Okay. So if it's gonna have a Darcy or something along the lines, or we're just gonna hold up another removal spell. I plan on pushing this off a cliff. Yeah, we're gonna put this in my hand. So I did this on their turn in case they pierce it. They have to use mana on their own turn. Everything is good to go. I'm tapped out. Let's see. I think I want to play this in the Delver. Put 2 threats on the board. Attach this to Delver if it decides to flip next time. Delvers are really stubborn. Like, dude, if you can comment, you know, how to bribe them, I might pay you a little bit of money. Or do a little something. I don't know, wear a funny hat. Whatever you can think of. But they're gonna get their bow back going again. They don't have memory lapse up or anything. So I got card advantage off of this. There is consideration to play Fable Patches here and manipulate my draw step a bit. Doesn't matter in the long run. They have a lot of interaction for our stuff here. This is gonna come off next turn for sure. Okay. Yeah, I'm super in for that, right? No shot. I hate Magic Arena from time to time. So that might be our only way to have been able to kill this. Yeah. So it's not looking good for us. So we'd be in a really good spot if it worked out the way we were supposed to, right? Like we get to edict the Bone Crusher Giant. But now we have to block and go to 2. Okay, so alright, I don't think we would have won that game regardless. But my misclick arena's awesome interface. All of it put together. Definitely made for a rough go. Something that wouldn't have happened in paper for sure. Alright, we're gonna do one more. We're gonna try to get a win here. But this just goes to show that the deck is really, you know, still needs tuning. And the idea is there, but I think it's missing a piece or two to make it competitive, right? Like you have to play this almost at 100% to feel competitive. Like, this is more than a feel smart deck. This is a have to be smart for it to function kind of deck at the moment. And you don't always have your A game, so you're not always going to see the lines you need to make every time. And just one small mistake or one bad draw step just really punishes you here. So my theory on Delver versus Dragon Rage would be whenever you have a second spell lined up, and this is typically a turn 2 play, turn 3 play, I'm sorry. That way you can kind of put a land into play. So I want to lead with the Delver. It's also more damage, but we've been very unlucky with this stubborn bastard flipping. So we'll see if our luck changes here in our game in front of us. It does. Look at that. It's beautiful when it happens. So I don't really care to play around a sweeper. So I'm just gonna go threat, look for a spell pierce. Or a Thoughtseize. It looks like they're gonna line up a Helix here or another portable hold. Probably playing some version of control. Let's see. I just want to expressive iteration. I don't want to commit any more to the board. I don't want to throw the game. This is exactly what I want. I want to put this into my hand. You back in my library, and then let's see what's going on. So if they memory lapse this, it flips Delver. So sweepers are turn 4 in this format. I'm gonna keep reach at this point because it looks like our threats are gonna stick. Just gonna take the Archmage Storm, right? That's the only thing that interacts with the board right now. They're just got missing sources. So this isn't gonna have Delirium next turn for sure. If I were there, I would cycle one of these. If they hit a Helix, they probably just win the game outright on the spot because they get to just flash the Helix back again here. Let's see, so 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're on a 2-turn clock, I believe. And they can also play a land and block. This is a sorcery. So we're gonna have to get lucky with our consider here. And it maybe... Alright, so that's what's happening. We have sorcery. Let's lead with this. Okay, they have land. Creature. So I believe I want to play another Darcy out, correct? Force them to have a sweeper. So they have a Shark Typhoon. And then they're going to be 2, 3, 4 unknowns. And I'm not winning the game if they play the Helix. Perfect. So they Helix, they Magna Opus, they're dead. Or they Wrath. So I probably should have forced them to play Helix right after combat by not playing this first, but this gives them a chance to make a mistake. I was just so lost in thought because I assumed they would block with the Shark Typhoon that I played this out just to kind of map my thoughts out, but it looks like it doesn't matter. Control, these are fantastic. This is wonderful. I don't want anything else here. So it looked like they were stereotypical controls. So I'm gonna cut things that we don't care about, like so. Second verse, same as the first. I don't want all of my reach. I just want enough to finish the game off. Goliath's command doubles his interaction, gets us our 2-for-1s in. And so discharge is just something that I look to close the game out or pick off a pesky planeswalker. Say hello, Thea. Say goodbye, Thea. I have an assortment of cats. They're step pets that came with my marriage. If you're a cat person like me and my wife, I hope you found Thea as beautiful as I do. Sorry, it's late where I'm from. So it looks like this is gonna be the last match of my morning here before I upload this to YouTube. I am also looking for card suggestions. Anything that you see, any tweaks, recommendations, brainchild ideas that you think would make this better, please let me know. I have different versions and iterations and renditions of Delver that all shapes, sizes, colors, and game plans. So Grixis is my favorite. Just I like this card. I like the decision trees that this card grants. I don't have a threat. They kept 7. I do have some interaction. I don't want to mulligan this. The game's gonna go long anyway, I believe. We're gonna act like we have a dispute so they don't play a search. Let's consider our options here. I do not want another Spire Bluff Canal. I found another Spire Bluff Canal. Thank you very much, game. You're my favorite. So this is probably the worst possible way the hand could have went. Just drawing more lands that don't cast our black spells is definitely not what I had in mind. Alright, we're gonna get this memory lapse that I'm gonna concede because we're not winning. Okay. We're not winning this. They have their colors. They have an empty board going into turn 4. I have no interaction for their Teferi that they're gonna play on turn 5. Inquisition hits nothing meaningful anymore. And my threats haven't snowballed, so we're not winning that game. I guess in retrospect, that was a bad keep. For us just to concede that way, probably was so, but let's look to rectify that. We have cards that are meaningful here. We're on the play, we have card selection, and this is very good in the matchup, so I'm gonna keep. And they took a mulligan, which is really good for us here. So the plan of action I have so far is going to be tap land into Rolling Vortex, into turn 3, look for things that matter. The only thing that could have made this hand better was turn 1 play. Alright, we're gonna put the clock on them here for sure, because this punishes anything they play out of the graveyard as well. Let's see if they can deal with this. This is probably very hard to deal for them outside of a Teferi down tick. Okay, we have our threat here. I think I'm just gonna go here, like this. Take their helix. Yeah, let's see, their hand isn't very good. I'm gonna take the anger because I can get my cards back from the graveyard. Even though this lets them gain a bit of life. very smart to do that on their turn, because I do have access to things like the sky. Well, buddy really does exemplify what a hermit looks like. These sleeves are very fitting for Jeskai control. Okay, put a land in their hand, blah blah yada yada. Haven't really missed anything. Right below the view of the camera, my cat decided to lay down on my arm. I'm kind of preoccupied with her. I do want to keep a blue up in here. So I think I just want to express the veneration here. Let's see, I'll put this guy in my hand. Send you away. The Helix is a lot easier for them to cast and pay for this coming up soon, while Archmage's Charm is just going to sit in their hand a little longer, at least for 2 more turns, and then it time walks them. So this card's actually playing very well here. It's exactly what I had in mind. Let's see, I think I just want to go threat here. Put just a little bit more pressure on the board with the rolling vortex. Let's see, and if they try to Archmage's Storm, I sack this. If they have a sweeper, I tap and play Grixis, so we're in a really good spot here. This is also why we took the Helix instead of the Archmage's Charm. Just allow the Vortex to start doing some work. Delver never clicks. Let's see. Let's play this first, because I don't want anything to be memory lapsed. I don't want this to be memory lapsed, rather. So we're gonna go shields down for a bit. Potentially a shark typhoon. Could get us here. So they're gonna take 5. I'm gonna wipe our board. 1, 2, 3, 4. Leave us with a token. Let's see, red, red, black, black. We don't have triple black that Thoughtseize is. My opponent's probably looking for a way to close the game out because it's slightly in their favor at the moment, but I think a Helix or a Planeswalker seals the deal for them for sure. Especially when they can ping this blocker and deal 9. That's also a card that swings that in their favor here. They can definitely activate it this turn. 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 6. This will be 7, 11, 18 damage. I'm at 15. There will be some considerations if I play Grixis though. Alright, if we can get this to resolve, I would say we're back at parity. Probably even actually with the storm giant, they're ahead. But I think that seals the deal for us, right? Alright, my only out is to get them to cast something from their graveyard. Good game opponent. So to wrap up here, in theory this looks really good, but the power level of this deck just fell short. This not flipping consistently and this being at the very least a turn 2, probably on average a turn 2.5, turn 3 flip is rough. There are cards with better rates in the format for sure, but there is something here. Like the core of this deck feels alive. It has a fighting chance in almost every matchup. I think there is a different slant you could take this. Maybe you could cut the discard for memory lapse, cut the static discharges, and just play more aggressive here. I think that's where Temur Delver would come in, right? You could play Atarka's Command, Sprite Dragon, stuff like that. I think that's what I'm going to give a go next, but I think the sideboard played well. I was really happy with the Hermit. This is probably the takeaway from this video, is this card is insane and worth the wildcard craft. But But I think that's all I have here. Like I said, if you guys have any comments or suggestions about this that I can try in the future, leave them in the comment section below. That way I can read through them, and you guys can also have a hand in building what I like to consider is the most fun deck in the format, because it's definitely not the best. But with all that being said, that's all the time I have for today. I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say down below, and I hope to see you again soon. Have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're from, and take care.